Hello there, Vic Benedict here. We're playing Uncharted 2 Remastered on brutal difficulty. This is chapter 5 of 26 of my guide and walkthrough for the aforementioned title and difficulty. I do want to apologize for the beginning of chapter 3. I mentioned that it was chapter 3 of 22. Well, that was incorrect. I was thinking of Uncharted 1, so I do apologize about that. There are not 22 chapters in this title. There are, in fact, 26. So, urban warfare is what we're dealing with now. You cannot live if you don't shoot that vehicle with the AK. I tried to just use my pistol when I went through crushing, and I got run over every time. So you will run out of AK-47 rounds, but by the time you do, it will almost be dead, so you can just finish it off with a shotgun. And now I assume that these guys were manning that vehicle. I'm not sure how that worked since it just crashed like that and they're not bruised or anything like that, but they will shortly be bruised, at least all but 3 of them, after they get run over by that bus. That is hilarious. But the second you get the opportunity, jump over the wall and then stealth kill all of these enemies. The one to the far right over here in the gray, he always drops a grenade. Anytime I'm not sure if it's on brutal, but I know on crushing difficulty you'll see a little insignia. It's a little blue circle with like a ninja sort of icon in it. That means that you get a little bonus for doing stealth kills. I'm not sure if it carries over to brutal. I haven't seen it on brutal yet, but if you're curious about what that icon means, that just means that you're getting a bonus for doing stealth. So this chapter has a very difficult fight at first, so I'm going to get you through it. There's a huge brawl coming up on the next chapter, but for now we're just going to keep track of what we're doing on this chapter. We've got a defender as our sidearm. The sidearm, as I mentioned in the last guide, is the gun on D-pad left. The D-pad right weapon is your primary weapon. And I don't believe, we have no grenades quite yet, but the thing you need to do on this part is going to be important over here. Now, this guy drops the fall, which is a really great weapon. Now, if the fall drops down there, you're going to have to go get it, but the thing is, you want to, if that happens, you might want to reset. So, and the reason for that is because you want to resist the temptation to drop down and stealth kill those guys, because if you do, then you won't have access to this part up here. Actually, you could come back up here, I imagine. Yeah, you can. You can come back up here. And then this is the key item over here. It's the Smith & Wesson 44. Now, notice that I have 8 rounds with it. It checkpoints and it gives you 8, but when you reset the checkpoint, if you die and stuff, you'll get access to the gun again, so that you'll notice that now I have 12 rounds for that. I wasn't cheating or anything like that. I just got 8 initially, and then of course I died over here a couple times, and every time you die, you start right on that, in that room that has the Smith & Wesson, and you can pick it up again, so you could have a total of 12 rounds. Now this fight is It isn't difficult with this weapon, because all you need to do really is kill enemies that are advancing towards you. The more they advance towards you and rush you, the better, because then you could just blind fire and one-shot them with this weapon. I experienced a very punishing situation over here. I know in totality the checkpoint over here, and the punishment for failing is very severe. And I'm going to tell you what that is in a moment, because the thing about this is that you do get a checkpoint once you get that little scene when the tank shows up and tries to shoot you. Chloe saves you. However, if you die on that, and I did, because unfortunately I was out of cover, and I had to get back in. I had to scramble to get back into cover, and I couldn't do it in time, and they killed me. And then what happens is, you do get a checkpoint, so you don't have to do this entire fight over, but you have to do half of the fight over again every time. And then you have to get to the tank section and just survive for a certain amount of time. It's only about 10 seconds or 15 seconds But if you fail on that, boy, you're in for a punishing situation. I don't like stuff like that. I really don't. But this is a great place to stand behind that desk. It's the most indestructible desk in the world, probably. So now let's talk about what weapons over here are good. Obviously, the Smith & Wesson, the 44 is great. The Fall is very good. It's a very strong weapon. It shoots in a small burst of like 5 or 3. I think it might be 3. And then it does a burst, and then it pauses, and then it does another burst, and it pauses, etc. But I believe now we've killed everybody. And I'm gonna, I've already done my looting. There's grenades up. There's one there, but I think that was just a random drop from an enemy. Straight up, where one of the enemies was that we shot on the upper area, there's 2 grenades. So you will want to go get those before this checkpoint. And then as you approach this area, you've got to wait. Now this is, so you get into cover quickly. I'm going to throw a grenade over here just to fend these guys off. But this is just a waiting game. It's about 10 seconds. Damn it. That was lucky. If Chloe hadn't shown up right there, that grenade might have forced me out of cover right there. But don't die on that. And if you do die, you're going to have to do half of the previous fight over again. And they spawn you like right in the middle of the battlefield. And sometimes before you can even get into cover, you're already dead. It's absolutely crazy and just too punishing and just a bad checkpoint. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be switching out our Fall temporarily for the AK-47. And then we're going to be picking up a Fall and then picking up an AK-47 and then switching back and forth to maximize our ammo. Switching weapons is not as pertinent as it is in Uncharted 1, but what you need to do is discard what weapon you have, pick up a different weapon type, and then pick up a another weapon that you didn't drop and the type that you want to get the most ammunition. So all you need to do is just keep repeating that cycle, and then you'll wind up with the most ammunition. For instance, I have 150 rounds with my Fall, and I would highly recommend that you take the Fall into the next part because it has a nice scope on it, and you're going to have to be shooting enemies from far distances at the end of it. Okay, and once you get that checkpoint, make sure that you scour the entire environment. There's a Smith & Wesson down here if you don't have it. And there's also grenades, so you're gonna need at the very least 1 grenade for the shield guy. Because this section took me several hours the last time I did this guide. It just took me like 10 minutes doing it now. It's just because you guys have done it. I've done it before, so the fight starts right over here. And just jump down here. They spawn the second you grab onto that yellow sign, and then you want to come up here. I'm going to switch to the Defender from the 44 temporarily and use the former for an expendable weapon source. Now, after you kill about 3 to 4 enemies, and I love this, they throw these grenades and they land right on top of the box every time. At least the box doesn't get destroyed. So what we're going to do, here's the shield guy. You want to do the aim throw at him right there. Targets him perfectly. I mean, that technique is great. But the thing is, and I didn't actually do this because, well, maybe I did. The thing is, if you've killed everybody down here, then what happens, well, everybody with the exception of the 2 guys who spawned from down the street, these 2 guys, make sure that you're over here by the time that you kill the last one of the first spawn, because getting from that box that we were hiding behind to over here with guys firing at you from the roofs is nearly impossible. I mean, you could get lucky, of course, but you don't want to depend on luck. This is a pretty hard section. I mean, look at that. I mean, look how fast you get put to the critical death screen. Okay, but now we've got, this is why you need the Fall. So what we're going to do is switch shoulders, and just inch our way over here and take care of this guy. This guy is usually a little bastard because he'll hide to the left and keep hiding out until you come back, and he only shows himself until when you come out into the open. But for whatever reason, he actually stood out and let me hit him this time. So maybe last time I had a glitch. But now all you need to do is kill 2 more people, but they're very deadly, even though you're not going to see them. I don't even think they fire at me. So same technique. And again, when you're glued up in cover and you're aiming and you just want to withdraw from the cover while preserving your aim, all you have to do is hold the left trigger, or the left trigger, and then press the circle button, and then you will withdraw from cover and retain your aim. And then all you need to do here is just inch yourself out from cover. You're a little vulnerable, but if you get headshots on them, I mean, look, they're not even firing. So they probably don't think I'm outside of cover. And that's really nice. And that's a done section, but that is damned hard. But it was made easy by the fact that we had, grenades. We had enough magnum shells, things like that. Chloe's position over here switched because I reset the checkpoint and was I did my looting. But don't despair. Whatever you do, just ultimately it's going to be your decision if you want to do brutal difficulty. I personally find it I don't find it easy. I just find it I like challenge. I like challenging stuff, and I laugh whenever I die, because I mean, not always, but I just laugh because it's just so absurd how fast you die. But it is by no means impossible. You will get better the more you do it. And again, just don't despair and try not to give up. That's coming from somebody who did give up originally. I mean, do whatever you want. Just try to have fun, because I hold these games really close to my heart, because single player games they're just being phased out. And they've just gone out of style for some reason, and I really find that sad. But we will always have games like this that are fantastic. So take care, guys. That was chapter 5. I will see you in chapter 6. We've got a huge battle to do. A huge battle, more fun times, and I'll see you there for the fun. Take care.